And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, Darren back with you at Cross Timbers Farm. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles. Glad to have you with us today. Boy, has it been a roller coaster around here lately. Today is October, let me check. I've been so busy I ain't even had time to look. Today is October the 17th. And the date that this video finally gets uploaded could be a week or two later. So it's not current as in like happening yesterday or the day before. We've had no online services for going on 4 weeks now. And it is what it is. We've not been able to upload any videos or anything like that. The weather has been unprecedented. As most of you know, before Hurricane Helene hit our area, we were already at flood stage in most of the rivers. We went from being bone dry, our hay grew very little after our second and third cuts, to all of a sudden we were in a weather pattern that was just pulling rain into our area. We were at flood stage before Hurricane Helene even got here. We had like 10 inches of rain, or maybe a little more, before the hurricane even got here. We had rivers flooding at flood stage before Hurricane Helene even arrived. And you can imagine what happened when Hurricane Helene arrived and the ground that saturated. Trees didn't break off in the winds, they just uprooted. The ground was soft and saturated. After the rains we had and Hurricane Helene, we ended up with over 25 inches of rain. It was devastating in our area, and we still covet your prayers for our communities recovering from this devastating once-in-a-lifetime storm. During this storm, I have not talked to anyone personally. I've checked on most of my friends that cut hay and have cattle and horses and goats that they have to feed through the winter. Most of them survived the storm okay, but I am hearing that there are farmers in our area whose roofs blew off their barns. They lost shingles and tin and things off of their hay storage barns. And the rain poured in on all their hard work through the summer of their hay, and they lost their hay. Our hay fields I would prefer to leave them for maybe another week or two to cut, but we have a window of weather coming up, and I would like to get our hay cut so we can see if we can donate this hay to someone in need from the hurricane disaster. That has no hay to go through their season. We can help add some hay to their stockpile to get them through the winter. As you can see behind me, the Kubota, I've just got done filling it up. Finally got some diesel fuel, it's full. Got another can ready to go. Today is October 17, and 2 nights ago, not last night, but the night before, not here on our farm, but in our area, we had snow showers. A cold front blew in, high winds, places that the power had been restored to those folks, the winds blew it right back out. A lot of loose trees from Hurricane Helene. But now I understand most people have power back. We have power back at our home, but we do not have any online services and spotty cell signals for communications. However, we're going to try to do our part to get some folks some hay. We're hoping tomorrow to cut the test plot. That'll be the 4th cutting off that test plot. The volume's not going to be real great, but it's going to be high quality hay. And we're hoping, cut our test plot one day, and maybe a couple of days later we're going to take our main hay field, we're going to divide it in the middle, cut one section one day, another day, so we can get this baled up in a reasonable amount of time before any more weather rolls in. So today it's cold. Right now it's about 50 degrees. It was 32 this morning. And you can see I've got on a winter jacket. It's unprecedented weather patterns. I don't think I'm going to cut today. We're going to need at least a little bit of heat on the hay to help the drying process. Today the highs are supposed to be in the mid 50s, but every day here going forward for about 2 weeks the temperatures are supposed to climb until they reach the mid 70s or low 70s, and then kind of hold there for a few days. So mid 50s today, tomorrow it's supposed to be mid 60s, and then the following day low 70s for a couple days, then after that mid 70s to hold for several days. And we have forecasted sunshine, plenty of sun, lower humidity, and the temperature should start coming up. So we're preparing today. We're going to get our tractor fueled, which I've done. We're going to make sure everything's greased. Howdy folks, it's the following day, October 18. We had originally planned to cut our hay in the test plot yesterday. Change of plans. The temperature was going to be so low yesterday, I forego that idea. And we're going to cut the test plot and half the main hay field today. It is about noon, and we're already warmer than we were all day yesterday, even at our highest temperature yesterday afternoon. We are approaching 60. It's supposed to get up around 67 today, which is a lot better than it has been. As you can see, we have the drum mower brought up here to our paved asphalt driveway where it's really nice and level. We're going to level this drum mower out and prepare to cut hay here in a couple hours. So let's get started leveling up this drum mower for a nice clean cut. I think that's very important. Get your mower level this way and this way. And that's done by your top link and your adjustable side link. Let's get started. Okay, we've got our mower square behind our tractor. We've adjusted our side turnbuckles to get this mower lined up directly behind our tractor. Now we're ready to swing it around into the cutting position to get it ready to start leveling it. Okay, we're ready to swing the mower around into the mowing position. Never do this with this mower raised up high like this and be in between, where this thing 600, 800 pounds when it comes around can hit you and knock you down, bruise you, hurt you pretty bad. Lower this thing to the ground where you can lower it around really slow and hook it up. Never get right in between the tire and the mower. Stay around to the side. All right, we're going to slowly lower this thing to the ground. Not all the way. About like that. We're going to go ahead and remove our hitch pin from our breakaway bar. Okay. We're going to pull our transport lever where it'll move. Okay, and here we go. Notice I'm not letting myself get between that tire and this mower. Okay, it's starting to touch the ground. Now it's on the ground. Okay, I can come right here and slowly pull it around until my breakaway bar will reach where it hooks, about another inch. Can you hear that sliding on the pavement? I've got this thing up where it can't just go swinging wildly and trap me. There we go. Hitch pin's going in. Now, it can't go nowhere. Now I'm gonna lower it onto the ground. There we go. We've got this thing leveled up to where it is ready to mow hay. Only thing we have to do is hook our safety breakaway chain, tighten down our links to where we've adjusted, and we're gonna run the lock nuts down so it can't move, and hook up our PTO. But we will hook up our PTO when we get to the field. We're almost ready to start cutting hay in the test plot. This is 4th cutting hay. You talk about soft and palatable to horses. Good grief, this is some high quality hay. We have a mixture of orchard is the primary grass in this test plot, tall fescue and Timothy, with a smidgen of Kentucky bluegrass in, not much. We have a lot more Kentucky bluegrass in our main hay fields, and especially the reclaim field. This one very, very little. Our orchard and Timothy and stuff has really crowded out that Kentucky bluegrass, and I'm glad. Even though Kentucky bluegrass makes really highly nutritious, palatable hay, the volume of it is weak. You get very little compared to this. 4th cutting on our test plot. Record for us. We've never had more than 3 on the test plot. This will be the 4th cutting off this test plot for 2024. This is our last cutting of the year. It's mid-October. We've already had some snow flurries in the area. We're going to have a warm spell for about 10 to 12 days according to the Weather Channel. Sunshine, lower humidity, a slight breeze. I hope dry down goes okay with this hay. Dews of the morning's been heavy. This year has been, and I'm not talking about just during this hurricane. This year, 2024 hay season, we have set record after record on our farm. Records for the most cuts we've ever got, records for the most number of bales. However, the logistics of cutting hay this year because of the weather it's been a struggle. Almost a logistics nightmare. We went from not being able to cut our first cut till very late in the year because of rain. Then we went, after we done our first cut, we went bone dry for a month and a half, no rain, very little growth. Then some rains came, and then we were able to do second cuttings and third here, and then it went dry again, and we were bone dry for another month or longer, very little growth. Then Hurricane Helene happened. Probably 25 inches of rain. And since that rain, our hay's took back off to growing, and we're getting late in the year, because we had a late start in early summer. That's where it all began to get shoved back. And we've got to cut now. According to the Weather Channel and the weather long-range forecasts, we're going to be getting cold again in a couple of weeks. It's that time. We're in the mountains. We've already had some snow showers in the areas. And we're going to turn cold. We've already been below 32 here at our home a couple of mornings, below freezing. We need to get this cut. Like I said, the spring delay for the first cut really shifted our calendar off. And then on top of that, the droughts and then the flooding. It's been a roller coaster. So it's about 12:30 p.m. We're going to start cutting this soon. We want to let the sugars and starches get as high as we can. But we're going to cut the test plot, and we're going to cut half the main hayfield today. Only half of it, so we can stagger our balings and raking so we're not pushed for time. Hour and a half or so later, you can see it's warmed up nicely. I had to go home and take off my cold weather hat and put on something cooler and shed some long sleeves. It's turned out to be a beautiful, nice day. It's warmed up nicely. We're ready to cut hay. Let's get started. Done with the test plot. Fourth cutting. You can cut this little 2/10 of an acre quick. And speaking of the test plot, we are not cutting off of our extension, in case anybody was wondering. Our test plot extension, we got one cut off of it the first of the year, and that was it. We got a foxtail problem in that test plot extension area. And we've been working on it this summer, keeping it cut, keeping it clipped, keep anything from going to seed. So the second, third, and this, the fourth cutting, we have not cut anything on that extension area. Only the original test plot, which is only 2/10 of an acre. I mean, zoom, 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 and you're done. Let's move on to the main hayfield, and we're gonna cut about half of it today. Okay, we're in the main hay field. I've got out and walked around a little bit, and I'm gonna divide this hay field into a third. I'm gonna cut 1/3 of it today. So let's get started. Okay, a third of the field is mowed. This is gonna make some really high quality hay. There's just not gonna be a lot of it. From our second cut to now, for the majority of that time we were in a drought. Then it went from a drought to a once in a lifetime flood and storm. The hay, as you can see, is looking pretty good. They're just up on this top section of this field, there is just not the volume that they are below us. This hillside suffered a little more through the drought than that down there did. We'll get more volume down there. The volume here is not going to be that great. Not a lot of it, but high quality. What is here is going to be premium horse hay. And it looks really good. Between this and the test plot, some prime hay. And this field behind me is prime too. This is third cut on this main hay field. Record for us. What we get's what we get. It's gonna be, like I said, premium hay, but it's just gonna be not a lot of volume. And we're gonna do what we can to help some folks out. So tedding's gonna be important this cut. Lower heat, lower temperatures, heavier dew points later in the year. We're really going to have to ted this and stay on top of it, tedding it to get our dry down to a proper level. Thank goodness for a tedder. Late in the year is when a tedder pays for itself. Well, it does all year, but especially this time of year. A tedder's invaluable, like cutting late hay. Because of the dews and the lower heat and all that stuff. So drum mower ran really good, cut it at 2 spacers, and the cut quality, from what I can tell so far, is fantastic. You really can't tell about your cut quality until you bale it and get it all off the field, then you can look. But just raking around in this, it looks great. Cutting it 2 spacers on the lift adjustment. This low hay, after your first cut, lowering that cut down just a little bit really helps. You can get by with a high cut height on your first cut when those stems are here and the grasses are in their reproductive stage. Our regrowth's been fine. We've cut all year at 2 spacers except for the first cut and the second cut on our test plot. We cut at 6 spacers, and after that first cut, the cut quality suffered. So we went back down to 2 spacers and very pleased with it. So. God bless you and your family, and we pray that y'all have a fantastic day.